All right, before we shoot today's episode of Declassified, because it's another Sunday, we're going to say a quick hi with Declassified's performing artist, Gerard Marzilli. You got your hand right in frame on the first try.
Hi.
It's such a tight frame, it's hard to tell. So, what have we been doing this week, Gerard?
I've been puking my guts out. Look at my face.
Look at my face, Dick!
We've been, this is a episode that ups the stakes, as we hope every episode do, which at least every episode is designed to do. And so there is greater urgency with each new problem or difficulty. As you will probably see in this upcoming episode, there is, a question. We start to address the question of Wick Pierce's mental fitness while on this journey. We're now about 10 months out in April of 1978, and it's starting to wear on him. Don't judge; it would wear on you too. Being in a space capsule for a year, going to your doom. And
this is compounded by Wick's history just a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, because Wick was in a tiger cage. Wick is in case we haven't discussed it before, a Vietnam War veteran pilot in the Vietnam War. Wick meaning me. I'm Wick Pierce, for those of you not watching or watching for the first time. And I was shot down over Saigon, and brought into Saigon? Hanoi. But I did time in the Hanoi Hilton, so a lot of time in confined spaces, and now I'm in probably the most confined space of all, and, well, it's weighing on me. So another thing we've been working on is the cadences, ever more so, and I think those are starting to come a bit smoother now. It's starting to get easier to talk into this very specific cadence that we have to have in order to be picked up on the mic. And as we get farther and farther out in space in the show, you're going to see more distortion. So it's going to become even more important to enunciate and make declarative statements.
Where is that distortion coming from?
It is coming from radio waves, or so Tennyson tells me. I don't know. I've never been to space. He has. At least this is what he tells me. He says, I've been to space and I know.
Space is full of things. It's full of emissions. It's full of radiation. Mm-hmm. So when you try and send a signal from one side of space to the other, things are going to smack into it.
Yep.
And the further that signal has to go before it hits the ionosphere. Now, of course, atmosphere also distorts signals. But space is not as empty as we think. It's full of electromagnetic energy.
Yeah. And you may have been picking this up already in some of the episodes and the audio distortions. You may hear things that even sound like cars or some plane zooming through. It's actually radio waves specifically itself. No. So yeah, you'll hear distorted sounds of the radio waves crashing into each other.
And honestly, from an audio standpoint, those cars and airplanes passing overhead have been a blessing rather than a curse, because when you run them through the distortion, they don't sound like anything other than a sun fart.
Yes.
Which is what they are in space.
But so any of you smartasses out there that think you caught us, you're wrong and you're right.
I also had another idea while I was working this week, which is that we really should be tweeting these episodes at Rogue NASA to see what they have to say. So
good idea.
If anybody out there wants to send a tweet to Rogue NASA suggesting that they check out our little web series.
I want to send a tweet to Rogue NASA.
Well, you should. And I think anybody else who's watching who has that impulse should follow up on it, because I hope they'd be entertained. I don't know. We're not poking fun in the space program per se. But you never know when you start playing in someone else's sandbox how they're going to respond.
Well, if they don't like this, it'd
be a little sad. It'd be a little sad for us. We hope they do. We hope it's just nerdy enough that they can really get behind it. So share it with them. Share it with anybody you think might be interested. Next week is going to be a challenge for me, because on the audio front, we're going to try. Now this, you're noticing how very, very minimalist this web series is. Next week's shoot is when we start trying just a little bit of movie magic. Not so much that, people will take it for granted, I'm sure. Ideally, it'll be invisible and just part of the world and nobody will notice.
But we are going to incorporate TIE fighters. Very excited about this.
So that's going to take a dent in my schedule. What else is going on with you this week? What else have you been up to, Gerard? We saw there's a movie from a friend of ours, Narmar Hannah, is out. And I've been tweeting about it. On the Loudmouth Report, Dan and I are having the director of the film, Rainey Kerwin, on the show.
Yep. And
it's charming, and it's on iTunes.
Apple iTunes, and anywhere else. Well, you can get it on Apple iTunes. So
The Wedding Invitation.
The Wedding Invitation. It's go check it out.
The Loudmouth Report is still moving forward strong. We've got what else? I'm going to take a little tweak on the shot. Y'all are watching. Yeah, right there.
This is how it happens.
Yep. So, what else is going on? There's a lot. There's a lot of quantum theory news, which frankly I'm just going to dodge until I can actually talk about it.
Top secret. If anything comes of it, you shall be notified.
Exactly. It's number one, we don't want to
know things you don't.
Yeah. Give them the laugh of madness, Gerard. Yeah. So there's stuff going on there, which is simultaneously exciting and terrifying, and we hope to be able to share more with you as things develop, and we will if they do.
And we won't if they don't.
Yeah. And in a perfect world, we'll have somebody new that we can introduce to the team at the end of it who's excited to meet you guys and describe his role in the process. We'll find out if that's the case. But that's occupied a lot of time. That's where a lot of my man hours have gone. And what else? I'm going to be publishing the play that I did with Tyler Seipel sometime in the next month and a half or so. It's called The Dream Factory. It's about two young women who are ideas who show up at the Dream Factory looking for work. And they get locked in a room chained to a wall by the foreman at the Dream Factory, who has his own reasons for doing so. So it's an escape story, and at the same time a parable about success in the entertainment industry.
Or in life.
Yeah, I figured why do theater if you're not going to do parables? And just so happens Tyler agreed with me. So he's writing a foreword for the book right now, and once that's done, we can publish, and we're going to put it on Kindle. And if anybody else has any self-publishing, any self-publishing platforms they want to recommend, I'm certainly open to hearing them, and I look forward to it. And you can find me on Twitter and send your suggestions, Tennyson E Stead, at Tennyson E Stead on Twitter. And the only other thing I think to say is, if you like these updates, if you like these videos, give us a subscribe. Gerard, lift your right hand, point up at the top of the screen. On the right, further to the right. There, over there is where the subscribe button is.
Oh, I keep not seeing it, but it's right there, obviously.
Give us a like, thumbs up. Show us a thumbs up, Gerard. Turn it upside down. Thumbs up, like that. That's what you want to look for if you like what you're seeing, so that other people know to check us out. And we hope you enjoy this week's episode of Declassified. Gerard, any closing thoughts?
Just keep anyone who sees this and loves it, keep sharing it, keep liking it. We are actually at currently 1,100 Facebook views, which is fantastic. Thank you for all the support that all you folks have given it. And because I think that's probably that's a record for our Facebook videos that we've posted so far. So thank you very much, and let's get it to 2,000. Let's get even more this week. So just keep spreading it. If you love the show, keep sharing it with your friends. If you don't love the show, share it. In the words of Joss Whedon, now is the time to contemplate the words "quiet as a mouse." Pretend you do love the show.
Yeah.
We don't love the show.
And while the subject of gratitude is up, I also want to send a big thank you to all of our GoFundMe sponsors for Declassified.
Yes.
Thank you one and all very much for jumping in and helping. You're in the credits of the show. You've all got special thanks on IMDb if you hadn't noticed. Oh, yeah, check out Declassified on IMDb. Mm-hmm. I will send Lee a link to post in the description of the video so y'all can find it. And
because they're all producers now? Or some of our supporters?
The supporters are all special thanks.
All right. You're on IMDb?
Yep.
Soon.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we are going to get to the job of shooting this week's episode. So stay tuned, and we'll drop it the Monday following this very cast. Adios.